Morning everybody, great to see you all here. So let's just pray before we start. We thank you, Lord, for everything that's happening, and we thank you that we can actually see a lot of movement these days. We see that our freedom is getting closer and closer. We thank you for that. Again, we ask you for wisdom, for humility, and for you to lead the path ahead, and we thank you for that. So be it. Right. The ATO brought in a new law on the 1st of January, and in order to sell property you have to have a clearance from the Australian Taxation Office. So if you owe them anything, they will then take it out of whatever you get for the sale of your property. So we do have at least one person in the group that will affect greatly, and so it's just more and more tightening of that noose around our necks, more and more control, and this is why we are doing what we're doing. Okay, Miss Purr, we've all heard about Miss Purr, haven't we? This is the teacher at Marsden State High School, and she identified as a kid. She lifts her hands in class to clean her hands. She growls and purrs and meows at the kids. She demands that they meow in order to get a lolly. She's been removed because this went global. It went global. The parents were up in arms, and we're very grateful for that. But what I would like to ask the Education Department is, why are the children allowed to do it? I mean, a teacher doing it is horrendous, but why are we allowing children to sit under the desk and lick their hands to make them clean while the others have to put on sanitizer? Why are kitty litter boxes being provided for these kids who think they're cats? Let's get it straight, there are two genders, you're a male or a female human being. Why are they allowed to lap milk from saucers instead of sitting down and having an apple? You know, it's bizarre. So if you're going to take the teacher away from that, you've got to take the kids away too. So we sent an email to our CEO a couple of weeks ago. We have got answers. We have got answers to that. Mackay will not be putting fluoride back in the water. We did ask if there was any other chemical, because we know that they'll use other names to get around it. No, the only one is the usual chlorine. So they will not be altering our water supply in Mackay. I did ask about the gardens. As you walk into the Shire offices, they've been for well over a year. Absolute disgrace, and I sent this email late in January, and in the email it came back saying they were working on them from the 31st of January. So I will go down and have a look at them and make sure. And also last year you will remember that the councillors voted to have the agenda for the next meeting given to them 7 days in advance. They were often getting them 48 hours in advance, and we're looking at sometimes in excess of 450 typed pages, and just ridiculous. So we do know that Karen May and Marty Bella were very, very unhappy that that passed, and to me that would indicate that they don't want the councillors to have time to know what's going on. So the councillors now have it 7 days in advance. I asked, because we couldn't find them in January, so I asked when will they be available to the public, because we need to look at them too. I have been told by the CEO that they will be available to the public for Thursday by 5 p.m. on the Thursday prior to the meeting, which will give us time to have a good look at them. Interesting news, I don't have the details on this yet, but our CEO is on leave. And he's on leave, well, we don't really know why yet, but several councillors had what the Daily Mercury calls an off-site and unsanctioned meeting to discuss the CEO's future. So he is on leave. Surprise, surprise, that his future is being discussed. I think we can have a good guess at well, the meeting was at George Christensen's place. Nathania, Mackay and Peter Sheedy's photos were on that, so obviously they're stepping up as well. And interestingly, the Daily Mercury did 2 articles on it. The first article that went through had 4 comments on it, and then comments were turned off because every comment was in favour of the councillors who had this unsanctioned meeting. So when their second one came on, 1 comment against the, for the councillors who had met, 1 comment, and comments were turned off. So the Daily Mercury doesn't want to know the truth. We know that. We know that from what they've printed regarding us, ourselves, and people in our group. So they can't take the truth. So let's just not let people comment. It's insane. It's just, anyway, we're all for the truth, and we will continue to speak the truth regardless. Just a few other interesting things that have happened in the last week or so. The wildfires that were in California that quite coincidentally followed the whole line of the new rail line for the smart cities. The list of building restrictions was it was just huge. No one would be able to rebuild. So Trump has vetoed all of those building restrictions, which is fantastic. The Florida hurricane, where people we know in the past have just been left. I mean, Katrina's a long time ago, but the help wasn't given. 95% of the victims of that are already being given considerable assistance. So that's awesome. And the FEMA, the Federal Emergency Management Agency, has been ordered by Trump to oversee that. So that's great news. I mean, we're looking at someone who is now appearing to really care about people. The Mexican president has sent forces to the border to stop Mexicans from going into the USA, so they are starting to capitulate to what Trump has said. And Trump has put a 25% tariff on Australian steel. I wasn't actually going to mention that, except that I got an email this morning, and I just wanted to share the comments that Julian Assange made about that. His comments are that he made a matter-of-fact claim that Australia is merely a suburb of the United States of Australia. We get that. The capital of Australia, he said, is Washington, D.C. You get that. That's where all our decisions are made. They are not made in Australia. And we should all understand that Australia is part of the US. So that's from Julian Assange. You read into that what you like, but you can marry that up with the 25% tariff. So that's all I've got for today. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Tine.
Thanks, Tine.